Um, this is kind of just like a weird mid-afternoon stream. Just decided, you know what? I have some product I need to open, so why not open it in the company of friends, right? Like that's as good as anything else. So I figured I'll just share it with y'all because we have lots of product. I don't even know how many boosters are in these bundles. It's still 10 or 9. Like, I don't know. 9 14 card boosters in here. And then we have the collector's boosters. So we're going to have plenty of good stuff to open here. And then afterwards, if y'all want to, we can just answer some Aetherdrift questions. Because I think we're, what, on the eve of the set releasing, I guess, because it comes out tomorrow. And they probably still have some deck questions. We do have 2 videos that went up today. If you're wanting to know like cards you should or shouldn't craft potentially for what's safer, what has a higher chance of being played, I put those out each season just so a little helpful tool for everybody. Nothing crazy, but it seems like I'll like those videos, so we'll keep doing them. But yeah, if those videos didn't answer your question and you have something else you want to ask, well, now's the time to do it, or at least today. For now, though, let's hop over, swap screens. Let me go to the top down screen here, and we will talk about opening these lovely products. I should get those in a shot here. Like, maybe this can just be my makeshift thumbnail, because I didn't make a thumbnail for this one, because I was just like, you know what? We're just going to open some stuff. I don't know. That light's harsh coming over the top there. There we go. Maybe I'll put a shield over it or something. I'll put my cap. Will that block it? That does some. I don't know. Whatever. Y'all know what the products are. It's not a huge surprise there. Hey, Max. How's it going? I think I'm going to start with this. We're going to go with the Aetherdrift bundle first, and then we'll open the collector's booster. So we're opening up like the most exciting thing second, you know? You know what used to be funny? I've done several of these like box openings or like collections when I buy them and go through them live, where I've had people say I've just like planted cards or done certain things to like look better on camera. But it's a weird statement because like we don't make any more money. Like y'all aren't magically you're already watching, you know what I mean? Like if there's just a high dollar card, it doesn't make the stream or the video generate more money. It's just something else to talk about for the most part. Okay, so this is interesting. This came in the bundle. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but it's got a little piece of art, which that part isn't that exciting. It's just one of the cards from the set. But then this, and I'm gonna try to put it closer to the camera. Hopefully it focuses. But like, it shows the different vehicles in the set. Oh wait, are these all the legendary vehicles? No, these are the teams in the set. They're all just okay. I got it. So they're just showing you like, I guess the key vehicle from each team that's represented in the set. Kind of a cool little thing. I think the problem I have with it is it doesn't really have context. I mean, it labels like the artist and stuff, but like it doesn't really tell you like why this exists. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, these are neat and there's some team names on the back, but I don't know. Like if you didn't know, you wouldn't know what it meant. You know what I mean? Like that's a little weird. So I don't really understand that. Looks like Sirocco's in here. I am doing well. Hope you are too. Brandon Ding says, y'all know when the set releases? Always on the Tuesday after the early release or after pre-release. So that will be tomorrow. Um, do you know of someone that can speed up the same turn they got speed? Yes. So if you have something that starts your engines and you have haste, you can deal damage in. If it starts your engines and then you shoot them for a point, that counts. So yes. All right. I'm gonna try not to make as big of a mess while I open all of this. And I will make sure, because this is on camera, so people go, oh, you just added those cards in there. Because that's always dumb. It's such a silly argument. I do like that we get these things, so you have little counters and stuff. Like, I don't mind all that. Like, these little art pieces, I don't think is necessary, but you're already printing the packaging, so you might as well. But it's cool. You at least get some stuff. I don't really need them, but I don't hate that they're included. Did they name a card after me? I'm boycotting. Drift Ronin. Nope, I don't think so. I think we got something that mentions drifting though. No ninjas in the set though, or Ronin aren't technically the same thing. Actually, not even technically. They're just not the same thing. Um, one of the raceways plus Ginger Brute is the fastest you can get to 2 speed. I think. Yeah, that's probably true. Crime Land's going to be better with speed. Not particularly. I don't think so. Because like they still slow you down because they come into play tapped. And there's a bunch of ways to just ding your opponent. Not saying you don't play them. Like if you're playing, I don't know, Rakdos aggro and speed matters, like you might as well play a set of the lanes. But I don't think they're totally necessary. Imagine if the magic cards insert were stickers. That'd be sweet. Like I thought about that. Having something to do with like decals like NASCAR or something could have been pretty sweet. All right. So let's go through here so people can see kind of what's in these things. It's a shame that there's so many of these boxes out in the world. Oh, wait. I guess there's a D20 in there that I hear rattling around. Oh, yeah, I forgot. They make these big now. All right, we'll put that there for a second. But yeah, it's a shame that these boxes are actually so nice because like, I end up just throwing them away because I just don't need them. Like, if I'm carrying a deck, I carry just like my shoulder bag that puts like 2 or 3 different decks in there or whatever. So these don't really go far. I guess they're good whenever I'm like opening product right now, like live, so I can just have a place to put stuff. But right after that, once I sort them or whatever, give them away, I just get rid of the boxes. What do we got going on here? They did send stickers to the LGSs for pre-release. Oh, that's cool. I didn't actually get to go to the pre-release. I didn't know it was a thing. Hey, all the latecomers. How's it going? What do I think of the new arena achievements? I'm indifferent. I mean, I am one of those people. I've never 100%ed any game in my life. Like I just play the games. I don't care about achievements all that much, unless they just happen in the course of me doing things. Same thing on arena. Like the achievements. Like here's the thing. I don't think the achievements are bad. I think they're good for business. And some people like having goals to tell them what to do, right? If you're slightly less motivated to play that day and you get on, it's like, oh, if I play this event and I get 2 wins, I get this bonus thing. Then they'll at least try to play the event, right? And in Wizards Corner, or any game company for that matter, like you can create the behavior you want. So if they want people playing more events or opening more product or, I don't know, logging in 5 days in a row or whatever the case is, like they can set up bonus rewards and achievements for it. So I think they're fine. I don't personally care about them because I'm not an achievement hunter, never have been. But for others, they're a good thing to have, and I'm assuming they were probably minimal effort or programming to include, so why not? Where should I buy magic cards online? Amazon seems garbage lately. I have a sponsor where you can save 5%. Tales of Adventure. They are super friendly. Matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Do, 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 do. Oh, I don't have it on this frame. I was like, why is it not on camera? We had it on the other day. It's because we're on a different scene. Let me do this. But yeah, Tales of Adventure, they're supporting the channel. So if you support them, they'll keep supporting us and we can keep doing things. There you go. I'll leave this up here. Whoop, what did I do that for? Gosh dang it. I will bring that back up. But yeah, there's a lot of places you can buy stuff, but you get to save a little money, use code Dragon, and there you go. And they'll keep supporting the channel. That's the biggest thing for me. And they are reliable and they're friendly. They set up at almost every major Magic thing that goes on in the country, several conventions. So they're reliable. You can actually like just visit them. You can show up and talk to them at shows. So that's how I got to know them, honestly. I just saw them at a lot of events. For sealed boxes, yeah, you could buy sealed boxes from them as well. But yeah, there's a lot of reliable places. I think the problem people have generally is, Amazon, it's questionable and if you're going to get authentic product because there's a lot of repacks on boxes. Man, I had combined way too many things there. But I've seen a lot of people in various groups online and on Facebook and stuff talk about how they bought product and then it was just resealed. And sometimes the rares are pulled. Sometimes there's not even hardly packs inside. They just make it seem like the same weight. So there's a bunch of other things I've seen. So I get how that's a problem. So yeah, you're better off buying from at least a reliable store, business, LGS, somebody who's involved in the Magic and gaming community more than just random website a lot of the times. And of course, there's tons of other places. Yeah, like CrowdGenics saying, like there's obviously TCG Player, Card Kingdom, Star City. Like those are all reliable sources. Like those are people that they've sponsored people for years. They show up at all the events. Like their customer service is good. You can call and talk to them. They have physical locations, right? So those are the people you want to do business with, right? On Amazon, you can't even really get in touch with the people you buy the stuff from a lot of the times. It's just hopefully you can send it to Amazon and get a refund if they even let you refund it because it's open product. So yeah, these others are gonna be your best bets. But yeah, speaking of, since it's on the screen, Tales of Adventure, you should check them out because they're super friendly to me and y'all buy stuff. They keep supporting the site, which is awesome. So I can keep making content. Which, by the way, I don't know if you weren't on our live streams last week because man, we streamed for like 8 hours in one day. That was crazy. But actually, almost 9 hours, I think. But I'm trying to use the sponsor money and stuff I'm getting now. Any of the merch I'll buy, t-shirts, buttons, whatever, is gonna go toward finally, hopefully, getting an editor to help with the channel because I had an editor for a little while, kind of doing some part-time stuff for me with short form stuff, but I really need somebody to help me edit long form stuff. I currently have no editor now. I've actually, I think we said when we looked it up, like 2,800 videos on the channel. I have actually edited all but like, I don't know, maybe 30 of them by myself. So obviously, if I want to get more done, I got to have an editor. And I have a bunch of other content I want to make and cool things I want to do for y'all. And I can't do that unless I have somebody help me editing. Especially if I'm traveling to shows and I'm going to give y'all like behind the scenes stuff and like do recaps from events and all that stuff. Like, I got to have time for it. So if you are buying stuff there from our sponsors and from the merch store, if you're on YouTube, there's a merch store below, all kinds of stuff. If you're supporting and doing all that, know that that's probably where the money's going to be going to this year. I'm not even going to make really that much more money this year because I'm probably going to be spending it paying for editors to help make more content. So, what else we got here? Glad to see you're still doing what you love. I was always playing, rocking your store. Oh yeah, always, dude. Like I mean, the thing is, you try not to take things too seriously. Current political climate making that way more difficult, if I'm being real. But we do what we can. I actually got a question for you myself. Out of all the deck archetypes this set, which out of the 10 do you think will be tier 1 or 0? I do not like answering those questions. For a few reasons. One, I don't think we have enough information to honestly answer that question. Like, we've seen a few decks here and there. We've seen some cards used. We've seen some pre-release stuff with drafts. We don't know what the metagame's going to look like. We don't know how stuff's going to work against those. So that's the first part. The second part is I hate answering those with that limited information because then what happens is there are people, whether it's me or any other creator, that will take something said and treat it like the gospel. And then when they go and spend their resources or whatever and they build that thing, then it doesn't work or they waste things. Now they're mad at us, right? Like, I've even had decks where I've told people, like, yeah, this was fun, but don't build it. Like, but they don't watch the whole video. They see a couple of wins and then they're like, well, I went 2-25 and you're trash. I don't know why you told people to build this. And I'm like, I literally said in the video, don't build it. So I don't know. It's always tough. I try to be responsible with those types of things. I have the 2 crafting videos that I put up every season, and those are kind of to help get you kickstarted based on the information we have, and that's probably the closest I have to that. Otherwise, I don't think I'd have like a real favorite because like even within the themes of the set, they may look different using cards outside of the set. So just saying like, oh, I think the blue-red discard thing is probably the best. It's like we don't even know what the final version of it looks like yet. So I couldn't really make that fair assessment. I think most people who do or say they know are either doing it for content purposes or they don't really know and they're just trying to have conversation, to be honest. That's just me saying that. Like, I could be totally wrong. Maybe somebody does know something, but generally, historically, that's what it comes down to. All right. Anyway, let's open some packs here. See what we got. I'm probably just gonna like race past the rares and mythics or whatever. I mean, not the rares and mythics, the commons and uncommons. All right, cool. A Verge land. That's a good way to start. That's where we want to be. You know what? Let me go ahead and zoom in here too. I had it further out so I could get a wide shot of the product, but now that we're actually getting into opening the things, you'll probably want a closer look. So let's do this. Let me see if I can make this work right. There we go. A little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit. All right, that works. A little bit shiny if I hold it over here because the light's in the way, but that works. Maybe a little too zoomed in. I can probably pan out just a little bit. All right, there we go. Back to business. All right, I think that's fine. Let's see. My bet is the final version will be red-black. They'll drop the blue. I mean, maybe, but red-black might just be a whole other deck too. Get it race past you, slick dog. Oh yeah, cool. I don't know if we can focus too much more on this. Let me give it a shot. Let me see what we can do with this. This should have autofocus on it. Maybe I can adjust that. Let's see. I don't know if I can. I mean, that being said, I mean, we kind of know what the cards are once we have them open. The text is all available online. Yeah, I don't know if I really can focus anymore from here on this one. Like, I know my main camera has more stuff there, but now my camera's having a fit. Like, why are you switching? Why are you doing all these things? It's all right. We're mostly here for the conversation, just hanging out opening products anyway. So, all right. We got that. This means, though, there's just probably another rare behind this, and there is. You know what? I might actually build a full throttle deck. Let's see if I can put this there, Phil. But I might actually try this. Because I feel like this is something. Hey, Gatewatch, how's it going? I feel like we could do a little something with this that could be a lot of fun. And then a foil Mutant Surveyor. I don't think this is any good. Oh, and... Oh, are we just doing this where we get one of these in every pack? I hate when this happens. And we just have to get these, like, junk nothings. Ugh. Terrible. Terrible. Ah, well. Man, I literally just tossed a Verge onto the floor. Like, y'all want to know how much of a degenerate I am? And as far as my collection and how I handle stuff? I have literally, like, thousands of dollars of Magic cards sitting on my desk, unsleeved or whatever. And I, like, drink and eat on my desk while I'm streaming and working. Well, I'm, like, such a heathen. Seriously. I think I've just, like, handled collectibles for so long that I just don't, like... It's not that I don't care. It's just, like, I'm not driven by the same things, I guess, on it. So just, like, yeah, they're worth money, but whatever. I have... Actually, I can show y'all. Like, I have an unsleeved right now. Like, Mirror Universe, Abyss... Bizarre Baghdad. Like, this is literally just hanging out on my... And these are actually legit. They're not proxies. Like, just hanging out. Oh, you ripped a foil Chrome Mox. That's pretty sweet. Like, nothing wrong with that. All right, what else we got in this one? Okay, Repurposing Bay. That's cool. I don't mind that. This is a little bit of a useful card. If y'all hadn't seen that, you can sack artifacts and go get bigger artifacts. Junky foil underneath. And... All right, yeah, we're just doing one of these junky lands in every pack. I hate when we do that. That feels like I don't I mean, I guess we do it for limited play because there's a lot of 2-color combos, I suppose. I mean, I guess it's fine. How many of y'all care about these art cards? Because I posted a while back. and ask people like, what do you do with it? Because literally, when I buy collections, there's people that have like 100 to 200 of these just in their collection doing nothing, and I end up just giving them away or throwing them away or whatever. Some people said they like using them either when they go meet artists and stuff, they get them to sign them, and that's cool. I understand that if that's your favorite artist, that's pretty sweet. Um, but other than that, some people said they just use them as like proxies, you know. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Foils are fine. Like, I don't really have issues with foils for the most part where I'm at. Like, I think it's somewhat around like the where the cards originate and your individual atmosphere or whatever, how it affects your cards. Now, I do have some. There's been one or two sets that have been pretty bad, but the last few sets, I don't think I've really had a problem. Yeah, for me, the art cards are just taking up space. They don't really do anything. But like, I'm also in the camp of like, if the artists make more money because of it, I'll deal with it. You know, I just hate having the extra waste in the pack when it could be something else. Yeah, exactly. You put them in a box and forget them. You know. All right, let's see what we got here. And I don't know how good this card's going to be. I saw some people trying it in the early access event, and I was not super excited by it, but I could be wrong. And another junky foil, which means there probably is going to be a junky land. But oh no, there's actually a full. I actually got a real land, a fun basics. Let's go ahead and keep that aside. Those actually trade and sell for a little bit sometimes. Also, by the way, if you're wondering what's in these, I don't know if I showed these earlier. They came out of the box. These are just usually one of these has foil lands, one of these has basic lands. They're just regular. Nothing super exciting about those. They just come in every bundle. You've sold an Elish Norn with the gold signature for 17. Damn, Finny, that's cool. I don't think I've ever made money off art cards. That's probably the one type of thing in Magic I've never made money on. Axel says, I've never bought a paper pack yet, but I would probably just collect them and make separate collages. That's cool. Yeah, I like the fun basics too. I plan on building a giant mosaic with the art cards. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. I think it's cool. I've seen people do stuff where they like make a table with all the art and then they lacquer over it, or they'll do like their whole floor in a room. And that seems pretty sweet if you want to go to that length. Obviously, you know, it's costly and time consuming, but it looks awesome when you're done. All right. Nope. And next one. Oh yeah, March of the World Ooze. Man, we won so many games with this card in the early access event. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. Turning your stuff into 6/6s is hilarious. That and foil, but nothing exciting there. Cryogenic Error says, so going back to my previous question, the reason I asked is because I love theory crafting and making predictions. I actually have a blue-red discard aggro deck theory crafted, although I'll need to test it and such. What should I remove? Add to the list. Oh, yeah, we're all going to be figuring that stuff out. It's more of a list of cards I'm going to play test. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, if you want help, like I do have a level on our YouTube memberships that just gets you access to deck help directly via email back and forth personally. So if that's something you want, cool. It's available. Axel became a member. Hey, Axel, how's it going? Thank you so much. Always appreciate that. That will also go toward the editor fund next month. All right, what do we got here? We have. Okay, yeah, this will actually get used. Like Perilous Snare, it's just like an artifact version of all the white cards that like come into play, exile a thing till it goes away. Hazard the Dunes. Is this a rare? Oh, I forgot about this guy. Yeah, 4 mana 4/4 is actually okay. It's a worm. It has reach and trample. Like it has decent stats, but that's kind of about all you can say about it, really. It's not a rare though. Nothing else there actually. So kind of an unexciting pack, really. Though Perilous Snare is at least useful. Oh yeah, it'll definitely be real good in Simulacrum decks. I think that's a given. All right. Okay, another Verge. That's cool. We got 2 of them so far. That's a solid start. I think we're gonna need a lot of these for the future. They're like 26 different cards with a list of 70 cards in it. Oh yeah, that's how a lot of my decks start, honestly. And nope, just there's a full island behind it, so that's cool. And another art card. Maybe I should do some kind of giveaway of like when I buy a collection, there's a pile of art cards, just like do a random drawing and mail them to somebody. Because ultimately, all I'm doing is creating waste, just throwing stuff away. Bleach Bone is the most price worthy, I believe. Oh yeah. Oh really? The black white one's the most expensive. That's interesting. Is it better to buy special or just buy 100 pack on MTGA? Um, I haven't looked at them, but it kind of, I'd imagine my answer is going to be it depends on what you want or need. Because don't they come with different stuff? Like, I don't think everything's so much of like which is better, good or bad. It's sometimes more of like what you need in one versus the other. Okay, this is cool. Fearless Swashbuckler. I don't think this card's particularly great, but it's cool to get an alternate version of a thing. That's kind of cool. And Skybox Fairy. Boo. And just a regular force. All right. If you're going referring to the $50 deal, you get 5 packs free plus the golden packs. Okay. $100 pack or $49. I just want to be able to craft the most decks. Man, I wish I had a way to just here. You know what? I'm gonna take a break from this for a second. Let's hop over to the screen and go take a look at something. I'm gonna have to boot up our arena real quick. We'll come back to opening packs. We only have 2 left, and then we'll get into the collector's boosters. Let me go to the MTG screen. Let me boot up, and then I'll take a look. Yeah, I wasn't super impressed with Fearless Swashbuckler yet. I'm not saying it can't be good, but wasn't looking great early on. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I hate when this happens. Like, my arena, for whatever reason, has never updated regularly. I always have to go to the site and just download the latest one. I don't know why that is. Like I've even sent them a message and had them look at it and like they don't know. And this is after like even rebooting everything, redoing everything on my machine. Like for whatever reason, it just doesn't. And like it's not that big of a deal. It's just like this time of year, like we get an update like every week, you know, and like the set will come out, so I'll have to do that, and then there'll be one the following week, and then we're usually good for a minute. Hey, thank you for the super chat, friend. Much appreciated. Genuinely. All right, let me go ahead. Still, I will boot up this thing. But the reason I'm doing this, though, is I want to take a look at these before I give, like, an actual answer, because I haven't looked at the bundle deals yet. And I think today is your last day to be able to get them, because they usually cut them off when the set goes live in the morning. So it's like, if you want to get the deals, get them now, and then otherwise, you just get the packs as you get them. Okay, here we go. Now I might actually have some... What? Wait, hold on. I was going to say, I just like downloaded the new one. You're going to tell me I can't get in? Can y'all see my secret password? Probably not. Let's see. Am I just in his Power Dragon on this thing? I think I am. What's weird is, oh my god, because it's the email address I use. Oh yeah, I guess I do have to have this off. Just for a second. Then I can let y'all back in. Boop, there we go. Now y'all can hop back in. Usually it's automatic, so I don't even think about it. My recommendation is to buy the $50 deal and spend $50 on gems and get the packs. All right, let's see what we got. Let's go into the arena store real quick, and we will talk about what the different deals offer and what we think about them. All right, so what do we got here? This is for $50, you get 50 packs, 5 golden packs, which come with extra stuff, right? More rares and mythics and things. You get the Chandra card and the card style. All right. This is solid anyway, right? I mean, it's $50 for 50 packs. Everything else is just bonus. But like the packs are going to cost you more than that anyway. So like, I don't know. What's our other option? You said there was a $100 one? Oh, I guess, well, those are daily deals. I guess go to bundles. Is that where they're hiding it? I don't see it. Well, that alchemy bundle's crazy. Let me go back to the beginning. So I see that one that's 49. There's $100 gems. Yeah, I don't even see another deal. Am I crazy? Yeah, I feel like I'm missing something. This is the only deal I see available. Like all these others are, get some play points and stuff if you want. And these are cool if you want to play like the different tournaments and things like that. Then like it makes sense to buy this. And then this is just Mastery Pass stuff, which I buy the Mastery Pass anyway, so I think it's worth it personally. You might as well, for $15, you're going to get $15 worth out of it and then some. And you get the random card style and an extra card or whatever anyway. So I don't know, for me, I think it's worth doing. I'm a big believer, and this is me personally. I do the same thing for Teamfight Tactics that I play regularly. They have a battle pass. And for me, I'm a believer that if I'm playing the game regularly, and regularly for me means more than a couple hours a week, then me spending $15 to $20 for what usually is 2 to 3 months worth of play on either game seems more than worth it, right? I contribute to the system. Programmers get paid. I get more of what I want. So that's my personal view. So I always buy the passes in the games that I play. Does ranching make sense if you're not grinding draft? I don't draft at all. Like literally, you want to see my account? Look at this. I have 31 draft token, 2 sealed tokens, 7 jump in tokens. I have literally not drafted since the human drafts went live, however long ago that was. Literally the only time I drafted. So I'm just literally just stacking up these draft tokens that have never been used. But yeah, that's just me. That's okay, so you're asking. Well, yeah, this is what I keep telling people. If y'all are cool with us making content where we draft, we talk about the different types of decks we could build after the draft, all that good stuff, put some stuff together, but we don't play the games, I will make that content all day. But otherwise, just because of time constraints, it doesn't make sense for me to play all the draft games when they don't really amount to anything. Because like I'm playing with a bunch of cards I'm never going to play with, whatever, and I can spend more time testing and building standard decks. So I always tell people, if y'all are down with that part of just going through the draft process, talking about yay or nay, what you would put together or not, awesome. I would probably do that. Otherwise, my draft tokens are probably just going to sit here forever. But yeah, anyway, so back to this. So you're asking, should you just buy one of these for $50 or buy 2 of these for $100? 100 packs is a lot of packs. But here's what I would say. Because think about this too, right? By opening 100 packs, you also get a wild card every 6 packs. So you're going to get, what is that, 12, 14, 15, because you get 90. So you get 16 out of that, right? Of which every third one is going to be a mythic, right? So whatever that amounts to. So you get like 3 mythics and like, I don't know, 4 mythics. And the rest would be rare wild cards. So you can include that in your math as well. So you'll basically get a play set of mythic wild cards, and the rest are going to be rare wild cards. So you have all that to look forward to on top of whatever you open. So I guess my thing would be, if you feel like your collection is pretty well set already on all the old stuff, or you already have all the cards you mostly want from the decks you like to play or the lands you're going to build or whatever, or craft already, then cool. Go ahead and double down and just buy a bunch of Aetherdrift, because that's what you're going to mostly need if you're deck building, right? If your collection is still, you're kind of finding your way and you don't totally know what you want just yet, and you might need some older cards, then I would probably just buy $50 worth, see what you open first, and then possibly buy some gems to spend on either not the greatest value, but on wild cards specifically, if you only need like one or two to finish out a particular deck you want to build, or buying packs of those older sets that have the cards that you potentially need, and just buying the whatever, what do we call it? They're not the regular packs, but the mythic packs. Yeah, buying those for older sets that you need, and maybe getting the rares or mythics you need out of those potentially is what I would do. So that's probably like my best advice I could give there. Yeah, the 50 packs is almost always a deal straight up anyway, and then the mastery pass for 15 is totally legit. I don't have a problem with either of those if people want to buy those. Axel says, "It's how I do it. I've recently become a sucker for some of the alternative art on the cards." Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Brandon says, "I usually get the 50 packs and the $15 mastery pass. I spent the extra 25 if I'm super hyped about the set." Yeah, that's fair. Nothing wrong with that at all. And also remember, you are getting a few rares and mythics in here that also fill up that part, so you're not like getting repeats, and sometimes those turn into wild cards and other stuff. There's a whole lot of math going on there. The other thing too is, and we don't talk about this enough, I probably need to do this as a video every season. I think Jim Davis does a reminder video too for people. But if you already have a lot of common and uncommon wild cards sitting around, go ahead and spend them on day one on the cards for Aetherdrift. So you go ahead and craft all of those, all the rares and mythics, before you start opening your packs. And the reason is, at that point, all of the commons and uncommons will start opening up more space in your vault, right? You'll hit the number faster to possibly get you where you can get an extra wild card or a couple of rares and mythics. It's not going to be a ton. Sometimes it gets you to one more, 100% that you can unlock, sometimes twice, but it's better than nothing, right? Especially if you just have a bunch sitting around. Like right now, I have, 400 common and 700 uncommon wild cards just doing nothing. So on day one, if I go in and just like craft everything, which does take a while, by the way, you're going to waste like probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes. But you go in there, you do it, you get them all crafted, boom, now everything else is just gravy. And you just get bonus wild cards on top of it. So something to think about. Oh, 4,000 because I never crack it. I haven't actually. I've cracked it in the beginning. I think I cracked it 2 or 3 times, and then since then I've cracked it twice by accident because I've clicked on it, and it only does it 100 at a time. I think. Is there a proper name for the animated original art cards on Arena? I just call them foil. Animated original art. You mean like this Chandra one would have like the extended art that moves or whatever? I don't think we really call them anything. I mean, I guess what does it call it when you're deck building? It actually, if you want to use the special versions or whatever, there is a name for them. I'll check this. I probably never clicked the button. Oh, just card styles is what they're called. Yeah, I forgot. Had like 150 at one point. It was not enough. Only do it if you have like 300. Well, it sort of depends. If you just need like one rare or mythic, then you go ahead and crack it, and you have one sitting in your vault ready for you. But all right. Hopefully that helped. I'm going to go back and we're going to open some more packs. All right, so you just joined us. I don't know how many people that is, but welcome to those of you, since we were talking about all this Aetherdrift stuff. We are opening some product here from Aetherdrift. We're down to 2 packs on our bundle, and then we're going to open the collector's boosters here in just a second. Because why not? All right, just making sure everybody around the internet, all the places we're streaming, we're still all good. But all right, let's open this up and see what we got. Because I don't know. Honestly, I didn't even know we could get those crazy art cards in here. I for real didn't even know that was an option. So that actually was pretty cool to find that out. All right. Oh, I did like this Lifecraft engine. This was better than I thought it was gonna be. Truthfully, we played it in the Cats deck and it was really good. I would play this in more theme decks for sure. Like having a creature around after the board is swept, or even just like, you top deck like a two power creature or whatever. Instead, you can attack with a 4 power thing. Right? Like it was really good. Livewire says, "What do you think about the first place border, and did you open any?" I haven't opened any yet. We'll find out in a little bit. What do I think about it? I don't really get it personally. Hey, Redshift. I probably will have to build a deck to try to use Redshift, but I don't expect it to be particularly great. I don't know. Like my problem with the first place border is that we should have just went gold and bossed on them. I think we should have just went in on it. If we're gonna do it, just make them look gold. And I think they would have looked better. I think the problem is we got yellow instead of gold, and it just doesn't look as good. Can name assassin makes shoot the sheriff worse. That's true. Make all your creatures into a creature type that hurts another card. Brandon says they did change it a few sets ago, but any standard or alchemy pack opening does count toward earning the golden pack. Usually be only the most recent set. Oh, really? I've always, like, every pack I've opened gone toward open golden packs. The only thing that doesn't is if it's a free pack, I think. But any pack that you buy has gone toward, at least for as long as I can remember. Like, any pack I bought has worked. All right. Let's see. The last of these regular boosters is... Oh, yeah. All right. Cool. Regal Imperiosaur. This thing's a monster. Big fan. Like having a copy of that around. Don't care about Ran Over. And the junky land card behind it. All right. So you know what? That's not a bad spread. If I were to open this as my box, I'd have been okay with that. As a, I guess, a bundle box. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's a forest. Let's not count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rares and/or mythics and an alternate art card out of 9 packs. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm okay with that. You may not be wrong, Brandon. I'm not like it's possible that at one point only the latest pack worked. I just know as long as I can remember now, like I have never had an issue where I opened an older pack and it just didn't count. All right, let's get into this stuff here. Ooh, am I gonna need to grab scissors? I should have thought about that. All right, well, I have a pin. That'll have to do. I'm in. All right, let me set some of these cards aside. That is the one thing about doing box openings. I make a huge mess on my desk. All right, let me set these up over here, and I'll use these as a divider. Keep the filthy commons away from the rares and mythics. Okay, so Grizzly says when I started it was current packs. Now it's all standard packs. The mustard border is technically the first place border. Yeah, that's the issue. It looks yellow. It does look mustard, right? It doesn't look like a first place thing. Oh, there's a box topper in here. I wasn't aware. I mean, I guess I do that, and I just forgot. Okay, well, we want to open the box topper first or last? Let's save it for last. Let's in case we don't open anything good, we'll see if we have something to look forward to. I'll leave that here kind of looming off to the side. We'll have that later. All right. Set that box over there for now. And we will open these. Fix the only current pack count like 2 months. It's only been 2 months? Wow, it feels like it's been a lot longer than that. Hey, don't feel bad. I'm a filthy common too, y'all. Like, I'm just a filthy common with a microphone. That's the only difference. All right, what do we got here? There's going to be all kinds of rares and mythics in here, isn't there? All right, so we got a Hazaret with the alternate art. Extended, that's cool. In foil. And the Maganda Recovery, or Raceway. I don't know why I said Recovery. Oh my gosh, that's terribly not in focus there. Boommobile, which is not spectacular. Is this just all rares and mythics? Is that what we're doing now in these? The Prima Trailblazer. This is a commander card that ended up in here. And then Quag Feast in foil. Okay, we have an alternate art Thundering Brood Wagon. Obviously not a rare, but, you know, alternate art foil. Clamor Ironclad. Junk. Full art Swamp. Okay, so we just have the rares and stuff on top. Oh, see, I bet you when this has happened, these are generally printed in the Japanese facility. At least that's the way it used to be, if I remember right. So when you get the packs and the rares and stuff are on top, for whatever reason, that facility prints them different than the other facilities print them. And I don't know why that is. It may not still be true, but that's the only time historically when I was aware of things and part understood the process. Like that for some reason, factories in that region have the rares on top. Wish I knew why. Because you would think they would just all do it the same, but they don't. So here's the thing then. Okay, I will do this. I'm going to count down a few cards here. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that should put us safely to at least the rares, I think. All right, let's see. Okay, hey, we did it right. So we'll count 10 down, and then I'll just flip these so we get a little bit of a surprise. So we don't just have all the rares on top. All right, so we get a foil Verge. Awesome. Not upset at that. Pia Nalar got a new card? Oh, it's from the Commander set. That's why. I was like, I didn't even know Pia had a new card, because she doesn't. Not that we can play in Standard anyway. Lumbering World Wagon. I thought more people were going to try this, because anytime you have something that goes and gets lands, generally people are excited about it. But hadn't seen me try this yet. And another Verge. Full art red white one. All right, not mad at that. What are these last two? Oh, Koladin. Koladin looks like I don't know. Looks like a character I know from some other space-related show. And then just a foil. Token. All right, cool. Not mad at that. That was a good little pile. Yeah, I don't like having the rare first. It's always like, save some surprise, man. That's the fun part of the pack, right? And then you get like extra surprise because you see something near the top and you're like, oh, so there's a second rare in the pack. That's awesome. Looks like Optimus Prime. I don't know about that. You know what's funny? I actually got to meet the dude who does the voice of Optimus Prime at an actual Transformer convention called BotCon years ago. And turns out that dude also is the voice of Predator. So like the weird clicky sounds and the growls or whatever, like he literally can do that. Like he was the voice that they just use forever for Predator now. Which is so wild that and Optimus Prime is the same person. Super cool guy though, honestly. He's been doing acting in Hollywood for a long time, even before he became just a voice actor. Super sweet. Like cool guy. If you ever get a chance, read up on him. He's actually pretty interesting. All right. Oh, this is the mill card thing. Bah. But, you know, somebody's going to be excited about it. Prophet of the Scarab. So another, I guess we're going to have one commander card in every pack. So that's fine. Gas Guzzler. If you're playing in red-black aggro-y thing that cares about speed, this will be a card that you want for sure. And okay. Markerback Walker. I'm curious how good this card is going to be. because it reads really well, right? Like put counters on it, you can add counters, and when it dies, you get counters or get cards. Now, the thing though is there are a lot of things that exile, and this says it has to die, so that's got its own issues or whatever. But it's actually pretty sweet, you know. And if you're playing a +1/+1 counters deck, I mean, I'll put it in my +1/+1 commander deck for sure. So it's kind of a neat card. Probably better for older formats, even. And a Galvanic Blast. Okay, this isn't a bad one to have. Like, not a super expensive card, because Galvanic Blast had a couple of printings or whatever over the years, but cool to get this one. Good for older formats. Might carry a little bit of value. We'll see. Mana Sink that makes them think twice before wrathing. That's also true. And pop a couple extra counters on it, and then get some cards. Oh, I see some people didn't know he was the Predator. Yeah, I have, like, I don't know. Hang out on my streams. We'll talk about all kinds of random stuff, man. I know way too much about nerd things, I guess. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So far, that's worked. All right, it continues to work. Okay. Man, you know what? I want this card to be better than it is. Like, I feel like if this card worked, it would be awesome. But just putting counters on things is neat. Like, I'll play one. I'm going to build the blue-green +1/+1 counters deck, so I'll play one or two just to test it. But I don't have high hopes for it right now, sadly. Another Pia that we just got. What is this? The Web Strike Elite. Oh, I didn't know they did this one in the... So this is the green 3/3 with reach and cycling. This card, I think, is really good. Really good. I think some folks are underrating this card, honestly, after playing with it. The fact that green can have two 2-mana things now that you can't kill with cut down is super strong. Hazaret, the non-foil version. So we have 2 of those now. And, ooh, all right. A foil borderless Perilous Snare. That's nice. You know what's funny? I've owned at least one of just about every card in Magic, I think, at some point. And I don't think I've ever opened any of the... what do we call them? The serialized cards. Brandon's still waiting for the Nerdly Boys wrestling recap. Dude, hey. Beat up Dev about it. I'm ready to go. I don't even know if you saw. I made a logo and everything for the Nerdly Boys. Let me see if I can bring it up. For people that haven't seen it. And mostly because I think it's a really good name. Because it's like a black dude and a white dude. We both wear glasses. I'm thinner, he's heavier. Like, it's just like the Dudley Boys. You know what I mean? Did I not put that there? Oh, it would have been in my downloads thing. So I can share that with y'all if you've seen it or not. Oh, no. Is it not there? Oh, I'll have to dig and see what folder I had in. Because I put it away for, like, future use in case we needed it. But I think it's a pretty sweet logo. It fits perfectly. I'm giving it a quick glance, but I probably don't have it handy quickly. Oh, yeah, I do. There it is. This one. Yeah, this is what we were going to use. So I made the logo and everything and made sure I put it on screen and did stuff with it. So it's like branded in case somebody tried to steal it. I usually watch it, like I'm used to watching it at 8 p.m. because I'm on the West Coast. But now because it's live on Netflix, it comes on at 5 regular time. So I normally end up catching it at like 6:30 or 7 and I can forward through the commercials. Because oddly, as it turns out, if you don't watch it live, you don't have commercials. I don't know how or why they do that, but it's cool. But yeah, this is the logo we were thinking about using because I thought it'd just be super sweet and it's super fitting and it's simple and it makes a good logo to put on a bunch of different things. But anyway, whenever we get around to it, that's what we'll have. Yep, Dev, get the tables. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so 10 is the magic number, as I figured out now. What are my thoughts on the Royal Rumble? Jey Uso, thumbs up. I don't care if we never saw Flair on our TVs ever again. Either Flair, to be honest. Like, I'm good if they're done at this point, personally. But that's just me. I'm sure that's going to upset some people. Okay, a foil mare. I don't think it's great, but it's something. You know, it's all right. I can at least build some fun decks with this. Nissa World. I don't even think I remember. Oh, this is the one that makes energy or whatever. All right. Lifecraft engine. All right, we were just talking about it. Now we have a regular one and a full art one. Samet. You know, I'm gonna try to do something with Samet, but this is another one I don't have high hopes for. Having First Strike, Vigilance, Haste, that's all fine and good. I mean, those are all awesome words and everything, but for 6 mana, I'm not so sure. And ooh, that Basri looks sweet. I don't think I'd seen this before. That is awesome. Basri's also a cool card if you play cats. Can be played early and can also be saved to save your cats. Yeah, Charlotte. Like, here's the thing. I have zero problem with Charlotte Flair winning, except the fact that we don't expect her to do any meaningful story plot or whatever and then lose, right? And it would make more sense if she lost. But two, at least have her earn it, right? It feels like every other person that comes back, except for the one time Becky came back and got that like cheap win over Bianca. Like, generally, men and women both, when they come back, they kind of have to go through a few paces to earn their spot. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, we didn't do it for Cena, and people would have been okay with Cena taking the win because on the retirement tour, but we went ahead and let her get one. So, like, I don't know. See, I think Annie Flash and Samet are very different cards. You know, similar cost and all that, but like what they do is very different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Oh, had to make sure I didn't peel off a rare there, but I didn't. And we get... Oh, we were just talking about Samet. Now I have the other one in foil. That's funny. Another commander thing. Wizened Mentor. That looks like kind of a useful card. Oh, and then the other dinosaur in the crazy full art. Aganosaur Rex. I don't know how I feel about this art, honestly. I know some people love it, but I do like Aganosaur Rex. This card was very surprised. I think the way to think about this card is it's a 3-mana spell that does a whole lot of things. Draws you a card, puts counters on things, gives stuff indestructible, trample. But sometimes it gets to be an 8/8. I think if you think about it like that, it's a pretty sweet card. Ooh, that's a cool looking Duretti too. That's awesome. Don't mind that. Oh yeah, it's definitely like throwback art for sure. And the last one, Lumbering World Wagon. Darn it, I was hoping it was the Velocipede. I would have been more excited. I actually kind of like the Velocipede. Oh, this is cool. So the Chandra vehicle token actually has the actual Chandra emblem on the back. I don't know if they've always done it like that. The token and emblem for the Planeswalker on the same card. But that's neat. Had to take out the trash. So what I miss? A lot. You miss a lot of good conversation, Cryo. Oh, the Sunmare in that art is horrifying. I'll have to look that up later. All right, let me peel off 10 real quick. All right. And also, again, if y'all want to support the channel, help me afford an editor, buy merch in the thing below if you're watching on YouTube, or go buy cards over at Tales of Adventure and use my code so they know that you're buying it because of me, and you'll save 5%. Right there on the screen. Okay. Debris Beetle, I have a feeling this could still be better. You know, being able to gain 3, lose 3, 4 mana, 6/6. I don't think we've seen that card really get used yet, but I think that has potential. Aether Amplifier, that's a commander thing. Yeah. Ovia, I think, unfortunately, is going to end up being a commander thing. Mostly just redundancy. If you're already playing the other cards that like let you put stuff into play, then like now you have another one. Which sometimes commander is about that, right? If you can get 3 or 4 cards that do the same thing, that's pretty cool. But Unfortunately, I think 4 mana for a 1/2, it's just, you got to do too much to get this into play in standard or get use out of it. Giving stuff trample is nice, but I don't think that's enough. It's a nice upgrade, but not enough. All right, another full throttle. Well, I have the 2 I will probably ever need, so hopefully we don't open any more. And Skyseer's Chariot. That's kind of cool art. The card was okay when I saw it played so far, but cool looking. Any thoughts on a good brew with the new Chandra? I don't really have enough yet. Haven't played with her to where I could give you a solid answer. I think they call it the Ratfink art, is what they call that. The weird style. The art style reminds you of the albums of the art of Green Jelly. Yeah, like, I could see that. That makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me add that I did see a review of the card earlier today. Oh, fair. There you go. Yeah, if you haven't watched those 2 crafting guides, one of what you could craft and what not to craft, you should watch those. I think they're very helpful. And reward me for my research. Oil Deep Gear Hulk. Yeah, this card's definitely going to get played. I don't think there's any way around it. Foil's kind of nice on it. Problem is the art's just so dark. On Wings of Gold. This card sounds awesome. Creatures you control that are zombies or tokens get +1/+1 and have flying. When 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 white zombie creature token. This card's great. If you're playing tokens or zombies. Yeah, this card's got to be worth something. Voyager Glide card. Different artwork here. Not sure how useful it is. And I'm sure that says something funny in binary, or else they wouldn't have included it. Afterburner Expert. Yeah, this one's definitely going to get some action. This card definitely overperformed early. Not a surprise. Ooh, and we get a foil borderless Regal Imperiosaur. Awesome. Not mad at that. Oh, it just says fly? Well, that's so lame. They could have done something more interesting. Do I think Monument will have a specific home, or will be most... Oh, it's going to go into a lot of decks. Monument goes into a bunch of things because, like, you could draw or discard for damage, right? Or, I mean, generate treasure as well, I guess. All 3 things on it are good. And decks are going to want it for different reasons. But late in the game, you can still just, like, start dealing damage as another finisher. The card's actually... I wouldn't be surprised. I don't even know what it goes for right now. But I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up being, like, a $20 card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. We have... Blood Gas. Blood Gas is all right. I want to, like, this is a card that makes sense. There's some decks that can use it. There's things that can get it out of the graveyard easily. But this is not the standard environment that Blood Gas used to exist in. So it's not going to be near as good as it used to be. But definitely has a place, I think. What is this? Ret 2 Mystic. 2/1 flyer. Each creature card in your hand has cycling. All right, that's okay if you're doing a cycling thing. I don't know how much I'd be excited to have it. Bulwark Ox. I'm going to mess around with this and see how I feel about it, but having a way to protect all your creatures with +1/+1 counters seems pretty good. Redshift. Redshift looks crazy in this one compared to the other one. Like in the other one, he looks like a fun dude driving his go-kart. This one, he looks like a demon. like what? I guess somebody broke his car and he's mad about it. Like, I don't even know what's going on right now. And then Mindspring Merfolk. Yeah, this is another one I'm not super excited about, sadly. Crazy piece of art. Looks good in foil, but yeah. This is a card I hope I'm wrong about, but I don't know that I am. There's a few cards in the set that, like, I want to be wrong about. That, like, I hope somebody turns them into something. Don't get delvered by blood gas. True. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Here we go. Oh, I did want one of these. I did want one of these. I'm going to build this deck. Probably what you're going to see on Wednesday or Thursday if I can make it work. But the blue-green +1/+1 counters deck for sure. And I'm sure this card's already a little bit pricey because you can do all kinds of things with it in Commander. Lost Monarch or Ifnir. It's a 4 mana 4/4, afflict 3. Other zombies you control have afflict 3. Oh, yeah, if you're playing zombies, this card's good. I don't even have to read it all. Like, I'm already past the first 2 lines. Like, yep, that card's good. Oh, all right. That's a cool looking Verge. Borderless. Kind of sweet. Don't hate it. And, oh, 2 Sabsunins in this pack. What? That's cool. And we got the borderless one. Nice. Nice. Man, that pack was really good. Oh, and we got the Japanese altered art. I forgot the name of this guy, but we've seen him before. He just got a reprint. This is crazy. All right, I guess this is our big hit in the box, if I were guessing. Wow, this is really cool. Mimeoplasm's awesome. Yeah, I'm just going to let that shine for a second. I'm not generally a big fan of the anime style of art. Like, on a Magic card, it doesn't do much for me, but I know they're super popular and people love them. Every once in a while, though, there's a cool one. I think, like, there was a Smothering Tithe that I remember seeing that was pretty neat. Yeah, this is cool. All right, well, can't complain. That pack was sick. We got 2 different Sabsunins and the Mimeoplasm. That pack's probably worth, like, I don't know, probably an $80 pack by itself. That's crazy. I guess that makes it more than worth it on the box at this point. All right. I don't think we're going to do better than that. I think we've peaked, unfortunately. But I will take another foil Verge. I'm not mad about that. A Cursed Drunyard. Pay 2, regenerate target Shade, Skeleton, Spectre, Spirit, Vampire, Wraith, or Zombie. Alright, that'll be a land people want. What is this? The Howl Squad Heavy. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this card. It's one of those Start Your Engines things. Yeah, this is one... Okay, the Curse Cloth Wrappings, we haven't really seen in action yet. So this is one I'm probably going to earmark to build a deck with as well. You know, pumping up your zombies and then also letting you get stuff out of the graveyard seems useful. I can't imagine that it's terrible, but we'll see. And another Verge, this time a different one, borderless and foil. So not mad at that. I mean, that pack had a definitely a big hill to climb to compete. All right, this is our last one, and then we'll open the box topper. And 10. All right. Let's see what we got. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about this guy. I had people play it against me a couple of times, and it didn't seem like it did a whole lot. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I almost included it on my list, but I didn't feel confident enough about it either direction. What is this guy? Some of these commander cards are kind of wild. So 6 mana, 6/5, Flying Haste, Cat Dragon. When this creature enters, you get 2 energy. Then you can pay 1 or more energy. When you do, this creature deals that much damage to each other creature. Oh, wow. All right. Well, somebody's playing energy. That's a pretty sweet card. Salvation Engine. Yeah, I expect people are going to like this card too. Just giving all your artifact creatures +2/+2, but just having just extra abilities on top of it, like pretty crazy. Oh, that also has, I guess that's a thing. They're just putting binary on the card of some of the vehicles. Far Fortune Boss. I only saw this come up once, so I don't know how good this card is, but I imagine if you're doing the speed thing, this is probably a pretty reasonable card to have. And our third Samet no, we already got this art earlier. So yeah, I think we have all the Sammets we would need, and I think 2 of them are in foil. All right. Yeah, that third from the end, that pack was kind of insane. Don't sleep on the Verges. Pretty sure they're all worth $12. Or it wouldn't surprise me. The Verges are all very useful. All right. I don't even know what cards they put in these, so I have no idea what to expect out of this. I don't know if they just put rares or just mythics or. Oh man, these aren't as stiff either, so I got to be careful opening this, so I don't bend the card. All right, there we go. Oh, it's 2 cards. Okay, cool. The first one is District Mascot. Not so excited. Okay, let me examine this in person. To be honest, so I can give a real opinion. This, okay, hold on. To be fair, this actually looks more gold than I thought it was going to. Still very yellow, but it looks more golden than I thought it was going to. So it's better in person. I won't say it's great, but it's still better. I think it would have been awesome if it would have just been true gold though. Don't just lean more toward gold than yellow. But you know, District Mascot, I don't know if the card's any good, but if I'm playing a +1/+1 counter deck, like we'll try it. And this one is just a plains. I'm sure these will go for something because there'll be somebody who wants a full set of the golden plains or force or whatever they're playing. So not bad though, not bad. Overall, that was a pretty solid box. I am not going to complain. That Mimeoplasm is sick. I don't even know. Let me go see if I can find quickly what those even go for. I don't even know if I can find it. Yeah, I don't even see it. I don't even know where those would be listed, honestly, because they're the Japanese version. I have to go dig a little bit to find the price on those. Like gold, not good. Uh, it looks more good than mustard on it. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it looks more gold than yellow, and that's the biggest thing for me. Is just what do they really look like, you know? But now that I have it's still yellow-ish. Don't get me wrong. It's still like if you held it up and somebody called it yellow, you couldn't just be like, no, it's not yellow. Like I mean, it definitely still kind of looks yellow, but it does look more gold than the images look online for sure. You know what? I'm honestly looking at them now. I'm a little surprised, and I'll hold one up again so people can see that like they do have a gold sheen to them more than just yellow. They're like on the website, whoever put those up didn't color correct it to look more gold. Because I think, sadly, a lot of things in this world are about humans being lemmings and perceptions and whatever and getting certain discussions started. And I feel like had they looked more, and don't make them like crazy gold, but look more gold than yellow like they do in person, I think people would have been more receptive to them initially. Ophidian says, back from the gym. What cards are you looking forward to try that you haven't got a chance to yet? A lot, honestly, in this set. I mean, even with just what we opened, we talked about what the zombie thing, the cloths, right? The curse cloth wrappings. There was a couple others. Sabsunin, we talked about that. Probably going to put that into a deck. Probably some red black speed deck, something with full throttle. Probably going to play a couple of those. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like there's a few things we could do. I mean, like, full throttle is interesting, right? Because I don't think you want to play, like, 4 of them. Because that seems crazy. But even 2, imagine playing against, I don't know, something like mid-rangey, red-green, red-black, you know, whatever. And they have 6 mana open. Like, now blocking becomes, like, a real thing. Or if they just top deck it and can just attack with a bunch of tokens or vehicles or something, and they get to attack 2 more times, you're probably dead, right? Like, at that stage of the game where the opponent has 6 mana, unless they've literally done nothing to you the whole game, you probably just die when they cast full throttle. Because isn't it, like, 2 extra? I'm pretty sure it's 2 extra attack steps, right? After this main phase, yeah, there are 2 additional combat phases. At the beginning of each combat, this turn. Untap all creatures that attack this turn. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, I don't know. And there's also the ability of like you could tap stuff to use again, and like on the extra attack. So it's like I don't know. There's weird things you could possibly do. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out because I for real don't know. But it's definitely a card I'm looking forward to. I think, and I talked about this on the podcast, by the way. You can check that episode out. We go more in depth on that. I think there's excluding world events because like we have a lot of stuff going on in the U.S. right now that has people in a weird state of mind, emotionally. Spending's going to be weird for folks trying to figure out what they need to save or not or whatever. So I think all that's going to affect this set. But I do think also coming on the back of Innistrad Remastered and being like the fifth theme Magic set, if you want to call it that, all kind of plays a part. And I think that's led to people sort of ignoring how strong some of the cards are in this set. And I get it, right? You look at it and go, I'm not into race cars, and I don't know, the thing feels kind of gimmicky. And because here's the other reality, and nobody ever wants to say this, but I saw it a lot at the retail level, that anytime somebody doesn't want to spend money on a thing, they'll make an excuse as to why, even though the excuse isn't necessarily relevant. You see it all the time, right? Like when somebody looks at something they don't like and they're not going to buy it, or they don't want to spend money on it, they'll say it's trash to more reinforce that they're smart for not spending money on it, right? When in reality, the thing might just be fine. It's like all the people I see that like want to hate on Taylor Swift music, even though obviously she's making a pile of money and a lot of people love it, and she's donating a lot and doing all these positive things, but they don't like it, so it has to be trash. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of the same thing. But in this particular set, I think because of all those factors around it, people really have overlooked that there's a lot of good cards in this set. I mean, a lot of cards that overperformed and kind of surprised people. Like most, I think, I don't know, can I say? I haven't seen the red green Gear Hulk get played yet, but the others were really good when we saw them play. A lot of the new legendary creatures are good. Like I said, Lifecraft engine was good. The goblins in the set turned out to be really good. People built various decks with those. Like, there's a lot going on in the set, honestly. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Full Throttle and FOMO are pretty neat. It nets you an additional attack step with full untap. Actually, yeah. It could get you 3 attack steps, which could be kind of funny. Especially if you have something with vigilance or whatever. That's amusing. I did hear someone say this set seems underpowered. I mean, underpowered compared to, like, here's okay, first thing. I think too many people get caught up on overpower, underpowered. Also, tiered stuff. Like, is this tier 1, tier 2? I think that's such a flawed way of thinking about Magic. Because first off, what are we even comparing the baseline to of what's overpower, underpowered, right? Like, is Regal Imperiosaur underpowered compared to Glissa? Sunslayer? Maybe. But it's overpowered compared to a lot of other stuff. So, like, where's our baseline? You know what I mean? Like, that's the trouble I have with a lot of those conversations. And then it's also that a set at large could be slightly underpowered because of mechanics or themes or whatever, but then still have like 20 cards that are very good. You know, but the rest of the set doesn't get played. So that's always kind of bothersome. And then also thinking in tiers, I think is flawed anyway, because most people aren't playing tournaments. Tiers generally only matter if you're preparing for a tournament, because you know the most decks you're going to see are going to be in this group or this group, right? So you need to prepare and test. But when you're in the ladder, you literally see everything. And we play junky decks that can get wins on the ladder. So, like, tiers just don't matter. It's just, is the deck playable? Can it win 52% or more? Really, that's literally all that matters. Nobody wants to say that because we're used to thinking about Magic differently. But if you're not playing competitively, it doesn't. And hell, and somebody else I know, one of the other people on Twitter, even took decks that I've played and we've won store championship things. So, and those are actual tournaments. So I don't know. I mean, but the like Legends deck I played, I wouldn't call that tier 1 or 2, but I was able to win an event with it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that means. Magic has always had a powering up and a powering down cycle life. Kind of, of sorts. But I think also in the modern era of Magic, everything's just different. I don't even think it's necessarily good or bad or better or worse in a lot of cases. And then here's the other reality, and this goes for every game, not just Magic. I think this applies to Flesh and Blood, to Pokemon, to Yu-Gi-Oh, Star Wars, whatever. People will complain about, oh, this is overpowered and there's power creep and blah blah whatever. But then when they don't get that, well, I'm not going to buy this set because there's nothing good in it. It's underpowered, and oh, there's no reason to buy this. It's not going to affect standard or whatever the case is, right? So you want them to just keep upping the power level, or else you're not going to buy cards. It's just the way it is. Same way people say they get upset when their cards don't have long-term value, but then they also want everything printed into the dirt, easily accessible, whatever. Which what they're really saying is, I want cards to be really cheap when I'm trying to acquire them and build decks and all that, but then I want them to have value when I need to trade or sell them for stuff I want. You get one or the other, right? Now, Wizards doing a good job trying to make rare versions of stuff and this, that, and the other, so like things have value while still making stuff accessible. So kudos to them. But some stuff just needs to be rare for the system to exist, right? The ecosystem of Magic and the economy around it, you need some stuff that's just going to be rare, and people are going to be mad about it, but that's how these games exist. And that's not unique to Magic. That's just collectible card games as a whole. That's just the way it is. Yeah, also, good reminder for MTG Bot, if you have Amazon Prime and you're watching on Twitch, hey, give me them Bezos bucks. Or at least give them to somebody. Don't let them go to waste, seriously. Gray says, I find it very interesting that each content creator has different opinions on cards. Jim D might say one is unplayable, and Ash Oswald might say it slays, and UNCGB may be on the fence. So, yeah, exactly. And I always tell people early on, we're all speculating based on the information we have at hand and based on what our previous knowledge is. Sometimes each of us is going to be more right or wrong than the other, but realistically, if you were to take somebody for a whole year, we're probably like 40% right. We probably have 2 or 3 that went either direction, maybe had a hot week or 2 in a certain deck, and then the rest we missed on. That's just going to happen because we can't see the future. And things change very rapidly. Like the metagame shifts in a way that none of us predict, and like 2 or 3 new decks pop up, and we're like, oh, well, obviously our card would have been good if this new deck doesn't exist, or whatever, right? So I always tell people, take everything with a grain of salt. That's why if you notice when I put up my crafting videos, I try to put all the qualifiers, right? Like if this certain deck exists, or if you're using it like this, or in these cases, maybe it's fine, but for most people, you don't need it, or whatever. Just so there's context as to why I'm selecting a thing, good or bad, the way I am, other than just, I believe in this card or I hate this card, right? I want y'all to have the information going forward. So whether you agree or disagree with me, you at least have enough of a knowledge pool to make that decision confidently, whatever it is, right? Because I don't think me or anybody else should be considered the gospel and be the only thing you should listen to. I just want to give extra information so you have more context. Grizzly J says, is it fun? That should be all that matters, right? Oh, I agree. I think people, like, I think there's a bigger problem with gaming in general as it's permeated more of society, is that people forgot how to have fun with games. I think, I've seen a few discussions and a few message groups where this has been the case, but people are starting to trend more just playing single player offline games. I'm seeing more. I think that's why right now you're seeing games like Overwatch struggling. I think a lot of games in that genre, because people aren't wanting to necessarily be competitive all the time. Like, people are starting to realize, like, man, I just want something interesting and fun. And I think that's why, even though you have competitive, like Fortnite, like, you can get in there as, like, I don't know, Goku and go shoot Batman or whatever. Like, it's absurd, but that's part of, adding some levity to what they're doing, right? Not everything has to be about climbing a ladder or getting this certain achievement or being this high rank or whatever the case is. I think we're starting to see more and more. I mean, this past year, some game with the little robot and Balatro and some of these others were leaders in votes at the Game Awards. Not these crazy AAA titles that have all these online services and all that. Like, market's just changing. And I think in card games too. I always tell people, like, if Magic makes you mad all the time, why are you still here talking about it? Why are you in all these message groups? Why are you hanging out on these streams? Like, if something isn't bringing fun into your life and it's a game for sure, you should probably try other hobbies. Or, when you get frustrated, take your dog for a walk or something, you know? Let's see. Rachel says, I think that since modern Magic cards are more complex than older Magic cards, which means the power levels are even weirder because some cards need more specific enablers to be good. I think along those lines, the problem is we don't know what's good or bad because we've not seen anything like that before. I've cautioned before that a mistake we make a lot of times is we look at cards and say, "Oh, this is the new X," like repurposing Bay or whatever. People are saying, "Oh, this is the new birthing pod," and it's like, "Whoa, whoa, time out! This works very different than birthing pod, right?" While conceptually it's doing something similar, the cards work very differently. So getting in the mindset of like, "Oh, this is like birthing pod," and then it doesn't have the same effect or whatever shapes how people view that card. But like you kind of have to view it differently because they're not the same card. Brandon says, I'm a jank mage. Having fun is more important than winning. Hey, totally reasonable there. Fidian says, I think there's another dimension to want to get cards besides power level, like fun factor. It should be. It's not always for a lot of people, but it should be. Gatewatch says, are most of store tournaments you play in best of 3? If so, what do you do for sideboard since you play best of 1? That is true. Anytime I play paper tournaments, they are best of 3. What do I do for sideboards? I just look at the decks I expect to see and I put in 15 cards to help deal with them. It's not really a secret. If I think, I don't know, let's say I'm playing since I mentioned earlier, let's say I'm playing the Legends deck, right? The Naya Legends, and I expect there's going to be a bunch of mono white caretakers decks and some Golgari stuff with Glissa and Shieldred. Then, like, all right, I'll start looking at cards that maybe I want to sideboard things like whatever. The white card like destroy creature toughness 4 or greater or get rid of enchantments, right? Because that's a thing, right? So I might want to do that. Maybe I want to put a couple more flyers in so I can come over the top and not have to worry about the tokens on the ground. So maybe I sideboard a couple of those. Maybe because I'm anticipating there being a lot of sweepers, I want to make sure the deck has like an extra creature land in the sideboard that I could bring in maybe in some matchups or whatever, right? So it's like, it's not really rocket science. It's just mostly just saying, okay, these are the decks I expect to see or that I know are good that are getting hype right now. And I want the most versatile cards that can help me deal with 2 or 3 of the problems I might have. And that's kind of it. I mean, I know people expect there to be like some science to building a sideboard, but really it's not. It's mostly if you can find cards that help your theme of the deck do what you're already doing anyway, but are sometimes only good in certain circumstances, that's the spot you want them, right? In your sideboard. But otherwise, just looking for flexible cards that help with problems that your deck might need to deal with. Hatred says, sent you a DM. I'm going to make some dinner and walk my dog. A DM on... Oh, I guess it came through on here. All right, cool. I'll get back in touch. Back to conversation. Let's see. Brandon says, also, we don't know what cards in upcoming sets can make these cards busted. Yeah, that's true. That's why I even said in the Don't Craft video, is like, hey, there's a couple of these that are close, so I'm not going to call them bad cards. Just the environment right now says it probably doesn't work. But that doesn't mean it won't in 6 or 8 weeks or whenever Final Fantasy comes out or whatever, right? Like, that could change drastically on a lot of cards. We've seen it happen with a lot of cards. Hell, Foundations came out and changed a bunch of other cards. Grizzly says, dude, I play WoW and it's a lot more toxic than it used to be. Oh, bruh. Like, I laugh all the time when people say, oh, Magic's so toxic. And don't get me wrong. Yes, it can be. And depending on your store and your environment, they might harbor that type of mentality. So I get it. But man, it's not Man, it's the world. It's gaming. It's in a lot of places. Like I've said it before. I quit playing League of Legends just because of the community. Enjoyed the game. I was still trash at it, but I enjoyed playing the game. But literally quit because I'm like, I just don't want to do it. Literally, I think when I did the math, I was almost averaging every other time I played having to submit a report on somebody, either for harassing me or somebody else or using racial slurs or whatever the case is. And I was like, I don't like it's just not worth it after a point. So now I play Teamfight Tactics. I can still engage with the property and the characters. I just don't have to talk to people while I play. And I also heard, I guess they made a mode on League of Legends where you can now have like you just can't talk or whatever now. So even they recognize that it's a problem. So I don't know. Pretty sure Overwatch is struggling right now because of Rivals. Well, partly yes. Like Rivals is actually good, but the other issue is there's only so much room, right? People don't need a lot of that in their life anymore. Like people aren't trying to play a bunch of super competitive games. Like people tend to have like one, maybe two in their library of stuff they're playing, and that's kind of it. Unless they only play like competitive first person shooters and they're that person. But most people you talk to, they seem to only have room for one of those in their life. All their other gaming is going to be different. At least that's my experience. Maybe I'm talking older gamers. I don't know. Um, what are my thoughts about MTG Arena Algo? I don't know. There isn't. It's fine. I don't know. I all the stuff I see about people say about the arena algorithm, it's all to me. It just sounds like sour grapes because you're not as good as you want to be. I mean, I've made it to Mythic playing junky decks whenever I want to, and I don't think I'm like insanely top tier or anything. So, uh, like unless you're playing in the play queue, because the play queue does particularly try to pair you up with certain decks and whatever, and that's a whole thing, trying to make it more fair and all that, which I understand, and I think that's a good thing. But on the ladder, it's mostly just what's your rank, you know, how many games you've won recently, blah blah. When I'm trying to pair you with like similar people, like it's I don't know. Like here's what I'll say about this. If there was a giant problem with the algorithm, why do you never hear the complaints from the best players in the world? If you think it's unfair about drawing more or less lands or whatever, why don't you hear a lot of complaints from the best players in the world? Because they also play on Arena. I've also commentated their events and like the Arena Championships and stuff. Things happen to them at the same rate it happens to everybody else. You know, I mean that's literally it. I mean, I don't know what people want other than that, but like, it's fine. Because and here's the other thing too. Go find. Uh, I was gonna say Blizzard players, but their World of Warcraft card game, Hearthstone. Go look at hell, even old games like Soulforge and Gwent and whatever. Like players complain about every single algorithm, about every random number generator. Doesn't matter what the game is. Like something's always wrong with the system. The game isn't built right. Their algorithm's bad. Their generator sucks. Right? It doesn't matter what the game is. They're all randomizing and doing things. It's just the way games are. Like sideboarding is pretty fun, actually. Second look at them is reviewing your best of one main deck list and saying, yeah, kinda. You know, just look at where you have holes. MOBAs bring out the worst in people. That might be true, honestly. Stores with good community are absolute havens. I 100% agree. I think people, I say this all the time to folks. If you have a good, and it doesn't just have to be a game store, it might be your local roller rink or arcade or whatever it is. If you have a place that harbors good people, good behavior, celebrates the community, like support those places. Like I see people who legitly will forego going to those places or participating in their events or buying stuff when they have sales or whatever, and then they'll go shop online, they'll go to some other bowling alley or whatever the case is, and then they bitch whine and moan when that place is gone. Like we don't have any place anymore. We used to have this sweet spot. And it's like, then why didn't you support it? Right? It was the positive place. It was the place you like going. So hell, it's where a lot of people met their friends they have now. And they don't even support those shops. Right? And I was like, man, those are few and far between these days. So if you got one, hold on to it and help them out for real. Hell, even during the pandemic, when I could have bought my stuff online. I purposely, and yeah, I was spending $10 or $15 more on a box or whatever, but I bought it from my local spots so they'd still be open when the pandemic was over and I could go visit them. And fortunately, the places I like to go are still there. So that was really nice. Um, I miss League, but not the way it made me feel about the rest of humanity. Yeah, I feel you there, Domino. You're just better than the best players in the world. Hey, some people believe that. Like, I have an honest belief that most gamers and Magic players too are worse than they think they are. Like, they don't know how bad they are. And I don't mean that as an insult. Like, and I use myself too. Like, I have at least enough awareness that when I was playing competitively and actively and I was playing all the cash tournaments and, playing in nationals and all that, like, I was on top of my game, and I was probably could have been considered a top player if I'd have done the full dedication. Now I goof around too much. Like, I'm all about having fun, building weird decks, doing whatever. So like, there's no way I'm going to be considered a top player. Hell, I goof around too much while recording to where I can't even play perfectly while I'm recording because I'm like petting a cat or I'm like responding to somebody in a Discord while I'm recording sometimes or answering an email, right? So like, I know I'm not playing my best. So like, to get mad about it and whatever, like I see some of these other creators and streamers or whatever, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, we all know our skill level. Let's be real. If you were that good, you'd be on the pro tour trying to pocket some extra money. Okay, Grace says asking for advice. I find it hard to really play and really enjoy any deck other than my one favorite. A few key pieces rotate in the fall, and I want to know how others cope or find other decks to enjoy. Here's the thing. Eventually, there needs to be change, or else the game gets stagnant. So, I know you're not arguing against that. It's more like a thing I'm just sort of putting out there. But what I would do is maybe find the next closest deck that will not be rotating for. Because remember, now, if you find a deck you like, it's around for 3 years in standard now, which is great, right? So you might lose a couple of pieces here or there, but basically there'll be enough that you could play a deck you want for a very long time. So look at themes that are similar. Like if you play, I'm just going to make up something, but let's say you're playing a soldier deck, right? You like playing with the tokens and flashing some creatures in and doing this and that. Maybe start messing around with cats, right? Because it's like the next closest thing that you can make a few tokens. You can go wide with the board. You have a bunch of things that pump your creatures. And you can start kind of messing around with that. So when your soldiers or the chunk of your soldiers that you play with a lot rotate, now you have this other thing you've already built up a little bit, right? Or at least gotten used to the style of play or whatever. Or maybe you just experiment here or there as your wild cards, or even maybe don't spend any wild cards. Just see what's in your collection and what you're already close to, and then just start seeing if you can find any creators playing those types of decks with those cards, and then give it a go and see how you feel about it until you eventually land on one. I don't think there's really a secret. Like, nobody can make you like anything. Like, everybody likes stuff differently. All you can do is find the best way to experiment, either something adjacent or something completely different. You know. Sadly, there's not a crazy secret though. They love complaining on 2K, bruh. Like, I know so many people that complain on those games. I used to get it all the time when I was a pretty serious Madden player. But I don't know if I ever told this story. I think I've told it on the podcast before. Which, by the way, Color of Magic, you should download it or watch the episodes. We have them here on the YouTube channel. Um, and this is a long time ago. I mean, this would have been hell 15 years ago at this point. But I had played a lot online, and I was like, gotten to the top 100 of Madden, and I was like stoked, right? Because before that I'd never been higher than like 300 and something or whatever. So I don't know how, but I was like, I think I was like 76 or something, and I got to play somebody who was 17. And dude, I got boat raced. Like I was like, oh, this will be fun or whatever. This is gonna be a good match. Like it took me till the third quarter just to score, and I'm like, damn. And that's when I realized there's other people that are dedicating more time and effort than I am. So if I want to be better, I have to decide, am I willing to be as dedicated as these other people at this thing to make a real go at it? If the answer is yes, cool. Maybe you can be one of those people. If you're not, then don't be surprised when one of those people beat you. You know what I mean? Like, it's really that simple. It's the same way that when I was in playing basketball, I had the thought of looking at some of the other dudes and going, I'm going to have to work twice as hard to be 80% as good. Am I okay with that? The answer was no, so I quit playing basketball. You know what I mean? Like just understand, like, I can still hoop with the guys in a rec league, but I know where the limits are. And I think people just have to be real with themselves sometimes. Like, you can't put in half the effort and expect to be just as good. I mean, there's people that will know more little tricks. Their reactions are going to be better. They know moves that you've never even thought about thinking about because that's all they do. There's some people that only play one game. Like that, I know guys who have bought game systems just for one game, and that's the only game they own on that system. They don't play nothing else, and they're fantastic at it. But if you're going to play other games, you ain't going to be as good as they are. Like, it's that simple. There's some people that are going to be great at Magic, and that's the game they play, and they're going to be a top tier player, and it's awesome. But they don't play a lot of other games. Magic gets the bulk of their thought, their dedication, and whatever, as it should. 100% be willing to spend 10% more than online at the local if you're going to. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think if the spending is within 10 to 15%, I think that's more than reasonable to spend at your local shop over online. It gets a little tough if, you find let's say you find a crazy deal for something for like $100 online, but your local store has it for like 140. Then, like, yeah, of course, you save the money, right? It makes sense. But if you're talking like 100 to 115, then, like, yeah, I'll just let my local store have the $15. You know what I mean? Do, 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 do. Paul says maybe more. They don't know how many people are actually better than them, more than they don't know how bad they actually are. That's probably something to that. Like, here's the thing for me. I used to think I was good at Mario Kart. And then y'all remember when the Wii came out and you got to play Mario Kart online for the first time? I was super stoked. I am not exaggerating when I tell y'all it took me 23 races to even place. Not even to win, just to get third place. And I literally was like, every race I was like close, but I'm like, man, I'm just getting whooped. Like, what's going on? Like, and because you used to kill the computer on Mario Kart. So you used to think, like, you beat your friends in Mario Kart. So you're like, oh, yeah, I'm the nuts. And got on there. Well, you're on a world stage. Apparently, a lot of people are just like you, but better. That's where I found out I am not very good at Mario Kart. I mean, I say that. I'm not as good as I thought I was at Mario Kart. uh, Same thing as some singers and musicians. That might be true. I have a weird thing when it comes to singers and musicians because I feel like enough people know people that are singers and musicians and they consume enough of it that they feel they can judge it better. Whether they can or not, and I don't know if some people can or can't. I just think that's what comes with that. It's the same reason when I watch like America's Got Talent and I see some musicians and stuff like moving forward or musicians moving forward in the contest, but then there's people that have these super rare skills and they don't. I'm like, I don't think people understand how difficult some of this other stuff is, but they look and go, well, I know that's a good singer, so I'm putting the person through. When they're like, I don't know if this other thing's good or not, it's just weird, so like that kind of bothers me when I see that stuff. So, like, I don't know. I know I can't sing, I know that much. I think funny story, when I was in high school, and to this day, this is a funny thing. I can tune instruments and I know what instruments are supposed to sound like, but I can't hum the note that it's supposed to sound like. And I literally have had instructors think I was just trolling them because they're like, you can't be this good playing an instrument or be able to hear a note and know what it is, or to tune an instrument and not be able to hum the note. But for some reason, the sound I try to create that I hear is not, they don't match up. I don't know why. So I'm not tone deaf because I can tell when something's off and sometimes know how to fix it. But I just can't make the sound, which is so weird, which is probably why I don't sing very well. Srigo says, I admit I'm crap at most games, but I do try. You know what, though? I suck at a lot of games I play. Hell, I suck at bowling, but I also go bowling once or twice a year with friends if they want to go, and I'll have fun doing it. I think we have to normalize, like, you don't have to be great at a thing to have fun with it. Like, it's okay to not be great at a lot of things. You just enjoy it, right? Let's see what else we got in here. Was I playing as the Chiefs? Back then? No, I probably always played the Cowboys, honestly. What is the first video game system I ever owned? Oh, easy. For me, it was, well, okay, technically it depends on if you want to be like super nerdy or whatever. Realistically, it was a Nintendo Entertainment System. But if you want to be really nerdy and technical, like I had like an early, because my uncle, I think, got a deal on one. I had like an early Commodore, real basic computer that I used and did some super basic gaming on. So, like, kind of that, but realistically, like what people would identify as systems, the first one I owned was a Nintendo Entertainment System. I had family and friends that had other ones. It's been said before in other contexts, but there's tiers to this. Yeah, and a lot of things. That's absolutely true. Assume Cottage says, oh, Asune, actually, I read that wrong. Uh, how much do you think research has to do with making good decks, even IQ? I'm thinking that about testing something out, got GPT Pro had to do deep research on the meta and create some decks based on strategy. I think it has a lot to do with it, honestly, because you can build. I mean, like again, sometimes on the ladder you can just throw stuff together and it works. You know, it's just whatever. If you're playing competitively, though, research and planning really does matter. Like, there's a reason you see the pros get together for up to a week before the event, and all they do is practice, exchange notes, try different things, go through sideboard strategies. You know, they'll backseat drive each other's drafts. Like, they do all that work getting up to the event because all that knowledge matters. Right? That determines what your final decisions are going to be, or what you predict the metagame's going to be, or whatever. So I do think research really does matter. Some of it, though, also comes down to experience, right? If you know certain cards work certain ways, or you're comfortable with certain strategies, you can work that into your, I guess we'll call it the research math, right? Of what you should or shouldn't be taking a chance on, or what your odds are with certain decks. It's a multifaceted thing, but I do think research does matter. I think just building decks, and like as an example, and this is super basic level, but building a creature deck and then trying to ignore the existence of cut down and go for the throat is just going to leave you feeling bad a lot of times, right? Because you didn't plan for those cards being a thing. So even that is just a base level of research, but I think it all matters. Do 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 do. Mario Kart Online humbled me, man. It humbled me bad. I'm not even gonna lie. My feeling, for real, I'm a pretty even killed person, but I after playing like those first 10 or 11, I did for real put the controller down, turned it off, like went to grab something to eat, and I was just like feeling bad. I ain't gonna lie. Took me a minute. I was in my feelings for real. I got into fighting games for the past year. I enjoy the process of running. Yeah, fighter games can be crazy, and that's a super competitive group at the highest level for sure. Paul says exactly what I've been teaching my kids for a couple of years now. You don't have to win to have fun. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Of course, people that's what losers say, and it's like I don't know. I feel like egotistical weirdos say the other way. So I don't know. Take your pick. It's hard to make sounds with your mouth. I don't know, Buggy man. Like some people can just sing. Like some people just know what the thing is and it just comes out. But for me, it ain't never been like that. But again, like I literally have an award somewhere over there on the shelf that like is for literally being in a jazz band and doing these things. Whatever. So like I can make music. I can understand what it sounds like. I just can't make the sound, which is crazy because people say they enjoy my voice, but I can't. I can't do anything with it musically. Let's see. In no certain order, toxic players, poor hygiene, and cheaters keep my playgroup out of your local game store and at the kitchen table. That's interesting. Um, yeah, that's tough. If your store doesn't do anything about any of that, that's a problem. Realistically, and you don't really have a way to fix that Because ultimately, it comes down to the store, their staff, and the environment, right? The community. And if they allow those things to exist, cool. One thing I will say is this to people: don't assume that all local stores are like the one you went to one time. I encountered many a customer that came to see my store because one of my existing customers had befriended them on some level and they brought them in. And the number of times I heard, I can't even tell you. Like they would come in and say something similar to, "Oh, well, I quit going to game stores because this bad event happened." Right? Whatever it is, or experience that they had. And they literally just didn't go to a store for, in some cases, it sounded like 10 years, because they had a one bad thing happen or certain situation got so bad it wasn't worth it for them to go or whatever. And then they're like, "Oh, this is like way different." And, like, "Oh, you have like women that actually work here. Oh, your bathrooms are clean." Like some of the most basic stuff, right? But they didn't know game stores were like that because they had that negative impression. And then you hear all the jokes online and all those things are reinforced. So then they just never check it out, right? So I always tell people, like, check out the stores in your area. You might be surprised what's out there. I mean, in a weird way, and this is going to get a little bit political, so stick with me through this. But it's also how I believe some people get toward being racist, right? They, like, using me as example, like, they don't necessarily have any black people in their life. They have one bad thing happen, whether, let's say somebody stole something or broke into the car or whatever, and they find out the person's black, but then everything around them just reinforces that. And they never go try to meet other black people because they're afraid black people are bad. Like, that's how they get to be like that, right? It's kind of the same thing with game stores. Like, if you have a bad thing happen and then you never give another one an experience or a chance because of it, it's like the same thing in a weird way. I know it's a weird analogy. I'm just saying, but I see it happen in a lot of things in life. So I always encourage people, do your research, ask around, but then check out the other one. Because I can tell you, even here, I'm in Western Washington. There's like nerd mecca up here. There's game stores every, hell, drive 15, 20 minutes any direction. You'll get to game stores. But they're all very different. Some have more casual, some are more competitive, some have more role playing, some do some like art stuff. So, they all have different things that are good and bad that people like about each one of them. So if I assumed anything about one was the same as the other, I'd be drastically wrong. Even of the 4 or 5 I frequent regularly. Oh, Etsune, thank you so much for that $5 donation there. I sent you the research on Twitter. It's index on ChatGPT. Would love for you to critique it because I believe you're a little more of an expert than me. I will say this. I have actually tried using ChatGPT on probably 6 or 7 occasions. 2 of them I made videos about. And I have not been impressed with them at all when it comes to things that are very subjective and oddly, in particular, gaming things. And both times I made videos and I made those videos particularly because it was concerning that how it got so many facts wrong. I believe in one of them, it didn't even understand. Like I was asking about I was asking like general Magic facts, right? And one of the things was even just like the largest Grand Prix in Magic or whatever, largest ending tournament, which had happened, and I think in like 2014 or something. So well before they started building the language models and everything else, and it just didn't know. So I was like, "Well, you sure it's not this event?" Because I was pretty sure this event had over 6,000 people, blah blah whatever. And then it like wanted to argue with me, and I'm like, "But this is a known fact that's out there. Like you could literally just go Google it. It's a thing." So like I don't know what was going on with that. And there's another one where we were asking it about building standard decks and putting cards in lists. And like, I was even getting particular, like, okay, well, can you remove these particular cards, but only include cards like this? And then it was still missing. I was like, okay, well, only include cards from these sets, exclude cards from these ones and whatever. And it was still getting it wrong. And then the one time it got really close and I changed one of the parameters, it got it really wrong again. So I was just like, I don't know what's the difficulty other than maybe there's too much terminology out there with Magic and gaming and so many things being talked about within similar pages and articles and stuff that it has a harder time parsing it. Or also the fact that a lot of stuff out there for Magic is just wrong and it's just grabbing from bad sources as well. I don't really know what the deal is, but it can always be checked out for sure. Augusto says, I love fighting games. I went to EVO Japan 2024 with fun. Oh, that was probably exciting. You know that all oral skills can be taught, and no one is tone deaf. That can't be fixed. I mean, sure, if I like dedicated a lot of time, particularly to doing that, but I don't need to be able to sing well. You know what I mean? Like, I will say this: like, if some world, because I do the one thing, I don't really make like bucket listing. I sort of just do stuff, and then like, hey, I did this cool thing in my life. But I would like to do voiceover for something. So if it came down to it, and that was a thing I was going to get to do regularly for a living, I then probably would get a vocal coach just for more control over like levels of my voice and different things and weird side sounds and whatever. Just because having that control, I think, would be important if I was making money on it. But until then, I don't really have a use to go spend like 3, 4 years with a vocal coach and get right. Let's see. I definitely don't go to the store no more at all. Digital. I mean, that's cool. Hey, if that's what works for you, I understand. Yeah, the bathroom being clean is a real one for game stores. Uh, Sparkle says I'm going to sound stupid, but what is Chat GPT? It's a well, yeah. Basically, Asune's got a good explanation there. It's a research program online that does. Think about it like a search engine on steroids. Is the simple, explanation. Though now they're panicking because like DeepSeek is out and it does a lot of what ChatGPT does, slightly better but also cheaper, and it's free, and it's a whole thing now. It's a whole other thing if you want to dive into it. Hey, Livewire became a member. Thank you. Yeah, the weird thing too is I think AI, especially in regards to gaming, is a weird space right now because I think we're now to the point that we're classifying everything as AI, which is technically kind of true. But a lot of stuff now is saying like we have AI or we're using AI for this. And it's like, but you're just doing what you did before and now just calling it AI. Like people don't realize like your phone being able to talk to your Google Assistant or Bixby or whatever it is in your phone, yeah, Amazon, Alexa, whatever. Like that's all a version of AI, right? You're speaking a command, it's learning a thing, it's knowing how to search for stuff, it's bringing back information. Like this is just a different way to do it. I think unfortunately, just over the last couple of years, what people are seeing now is being classified as what they know as AI. So if they don't like a thing, like for instance, a lot of the art being generated from AI is like one of the probably weakest and worst uses for it. But people are going, "Oh, I hate AI" or whatever. It's like, no, you actually like AI. You use it for a lot of things. Like I think a couple months ago, we just had a thing where doctors put a bunch of stuff into an AI model and were able to find an early detection of cancer because it was able to take all these records they had of a certain type of cancer patient, and it went, hey, every one of these people that had this thing, like 90% of them had this way before we found out they had cancer. So now when doctors see that marker, they can be like, oh, hey, we need to test you for this just in case. So they're probably going to stop a whole bunch of cancer because they fed a bunch of information into an AI thing. That would have taken doctors probably, who knows, 100,000 hours that the machine did in like 3 hours. So it's like that type of stuff. It has a bunch of uses. I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do with it, but we're also seeing all the dumb uses for it too. All right. I think we covered everything at this point. We opened some awesome cards. I have tons of leftover wrappers now. I got to throw all that away. Tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to be live. I might. I'm thinking about getting on, and we might stream a little bit of some deck building with Aetherdrift if I get a chance. Obviously, if you are crafting stuff, check out the 2 crafting videos we have up. I have one, things you should craft and things you shouldn't craft. If you want to check those out, I think those are good and helpful. People seem to be enjoying them. They're getting a lot of views and likes right now, so that's good. Thank y'all, because those do take a little bit of time. I appreciate that. Other than that, the set does go live tomorrow. So if you want to play Aetherdrift, if you're going to buy any of the things in the arena store, any of that, get them today because they're only live for, I think, another 20 hours. And then they go poof, and you won't have a chance to get them. So go do that. Otherwise, like I said, if you're going to buy any cards, Please support our sponsors because, that helps a lot. Post your decks over on Moxfield or go buy stuff at Tales of Adventure. I will put that here in the chat so if people don't know where it is. TOAmagic.com, and you can use code DRAGON spelled like this, and then you will actually save 5% on your entire order. And again, I want to remind everybody, so y'all get more content, legitly. I'm trying to work with some editors and get some people to do stuff for me. And I'm going to be spending the majority of the money I'm getting from sponsor deals and whatever, at least throughout the first half of the year, setting up stuff to try and get an editor so y'all can get more stuff. And if you're members, level 2 and higher on YouTube, I am going to have more behind the scenes videos, some more personal stuff, stuff from events, things like that are going to go there. Because that doesn't make sense to have on just like regular channel videos. But I will put that there for members as well if y'all want some extra content. And especially with the set rolling out, if you want deck help, there is a level on YouTube where you can actually get access to a form that goes straight to my email, and then we can reply back and forth and help you out with your deck, personal deck help there as well. So lots of stuff going on out here. And if you just want to support me directly and you want to get something cool for yourself, I have a merch store on YouTube as well. You can check that out. It's a fourth wall store. So, lots of things. But all right, on that note, I'm going to grab something to eat, and I'm going to go watch me some wrestling and sort some Magic cards, because now I have a bunch of cards sitting on my desk. But this was a good chat. It was just kind of like on a whim, and this went very well. This was a fun thing. Maybe we'll do this more often. But like I said, we might, if I can fit time in, we'll try to do some streaming and some deck building tomorrow and see how that goes with Aetherdrift. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I'm out of here, y'all. As always, wherever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Take care of yourselves and your family. Remember to be awesome. And most importantly, especially right now with all the crap going on, be awesome to each other.